Let's get into it.
Good.
I can't thank you guys enough. I'm gonna just keep thanking you the entire time because, like, for me, you guys are like hip hop like idols, and I really appreciate the
Thank
time.
you.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate the
bro.
music.
Marshall, it's good
Thank you.
things.
And so, talking about your music, like 30 years ago, you put out Dah Shinin'. And so, happy 30th for that. And it
Thank
was viewed by many as one of the blueprints for real and that hardcore hip hop. And so, I just wanted to know more about the process of making that album and like what's something that stands out about it after all this time.
Well, being that's a two-part question, I think the process for us really there was no process because we was so new to the game. We was learning while we was in the trenches with our big little brother, our big smaller brothers, Black Moon, while they was recording to the stage. We was privy enough to be part of those sessions and learning as it was going down. So we just applied what we learned from those sessions into our own sessions, uh, different location, different studio setup. So it was really a hands-on learning, training expedition while you was going at it. And I think the thing that stands out about it is that, like you just said, that album, that body of work is 30 years ago and it can still stand up to this day on its own and stand the test of time. And it's still getting new listeners and new generations that's just getting hip to it. And that's a testimony all by itself.
Yeah. I have just a little bit more to add on to that because I before you guys saw Smif-N-Wessun, I was like running around trying to get like my little I don't know if I guess I could say a solo deal. I had a partner in high school.
Definitely.
Um that's where I started at. I started rapping with this guy, Chase. And so I was able to see the recording process there. And the studio at that time was very, very primitive, very primitive. And again, fly on the wall, just soaking it up. So by the time we got to like I broke up with my partner and I was on a solo mission. Me and Tech was still running around in high school. We was friends. So we was experimenting with the studio, not knowing anything, like really just doing the press button, like you see on the Cosby Show, the big baby, baby, baby. Like that was, just trying to figure it out. And then, then coming up to speed with Black Moon and the Beat Miners, seeing these guys work was a glorious experience, just sitting there watching them, these big SSL monitors and keyboards and it looked like a spaceship to us. So and even prior to that, doesn't even bring this up that often, but his pops got a whole studio in the basement, you know? So it's like we whether we was recording on 4 tracks, whether we was recording on an ASR at the homie crib,
Real,
whether
real.
whether it was real, we got to the real, we got to the studio, but we always was seeing the elevation of the recording process. So what was great for us is like what we was doing was learning. So when it was come time for us to speak, all we was talking about was our experience, straight from high school, straight off the streets. What we was doing at the time, it was very organic. We didn't have this big thing of like, yo, we need to say this and we're going to be stars of this and we're going to be the best at this. We just wanted to express ourselves and the Beat Miners provided that platform for us and we just did.
Oh, not to cut your wisdom. What was the name of that machine that you used to record straight to the cassette? Was that the AS something? It was like a cassette in the top part of the machine.
That's the 4 track.
That's
The
the four,
the
the
Tascam four
Tascam
track.
joint. Right, right,
Mm.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Some people was nice with that. They'll flip a 4 into like 16. Just
The
like,
16. You record
yeah,
straight to cassette tape.
straight to
Like,
cassette. Yeah.
please listen
Uh-huh.
to my demo. So it was that was
So
it right there. Rising
yeah,
to the
man.
top.
any way we can, and that's it was one way for us to stay out of trouble,
Hmm.
and it was just something to do at times because like, all right, you running around outside, hip hop is live, you want to be a part of that. You're not really sure that's what you want to make your profession for the next 30 years. I don't think we was dreaming that far ahead, but it was like, all right, it's happening now, and we had that type of energy. So he's like, yo, all right. And then the homie got the deal. He's like, oh man, we gotta, like,
Yeah.
hello, over here, yo. What's up?
No, definitely. And like the music that you guys were making, like those beats, the beat miners like produced that
Yeah,
whole first album, like with the soul sample and not the soul, the jazz samples,
yeah.
and a lot of that influence, like seeing that is really just I love it.
Yeah, well, it's soul and jazz. These guys were making music like a lot of these producers from that era was making music from their homes, from their basement, from the records that they collected from their parents. So it's coming from that soul, from that belly.
Yeah.
And then we get I was thinking about that the other day too. Like, imagine if the artists, us as rappers, like for the hip hop culture, imagine if we never sampled. You know, like some of these musicians, some of these musicians got lost. From the transfers from our parents to us, and as we go on, it tends to expand even more, right? So it's like, if not for the artists, the hip hop, the rappers, like unconsciously rapping over a Isaac Hayes beat or a James Brown beat just because it's a dope song. Like, that beat is dope. Everybody gonna rhyme over "Impeach the President,"
Yeah.
one time or
It
another. So it's
already
like,
sounded like it was already looped because that's how professional they was with it in the studios recording it.
right. So it comes from that soul. It's still from that same lineage of that the creatives who just find something that all of us can like kind of identify with, whether it's through music, word, visual, art.
Yeah. And then because you guys are kind of identifying with it and you put your own spin on it. And so now you're on the song in a way.
Yeah, it's crazy because, again, unconsciously, like, Tech's dad is a musician, full blown musician, right? But he keeps it. He's not like a guy that's like trying to be famous with the music. He's still doing it for the church, doing it for the community, jamming with his brothers, jamming professional cats though, like serious musicians. So the next level was like, all right, we didn't realize, it probably took us a minute to realize that was kind of like already in our
What was
DNA.
even going on, right?
You know what I mean? So when we heard the music from the beat miners, we kind of just, yeah, telling our story, it just melted so well.
It was relatable because this was the type of tunes that was being played in our households. Like my dad, bless his soul, him and my mother's brother, my uncle Elwick from Tennessee, they had a group along with my other uncle Shorty, and they had their own record label back then. So these was the music that was, like you said, instilled in us, but it was never really forced upon us or forced upon me to take it like that until we became our own and started really dibbling dabbling with it. Like he said, he's been going down that road already. So for me, it was just coming into another part of life.
Glad you guys did that. I love the album The Shining. Saw that you
Yeah.
guys were doing the 30th performance for it back in January, like the 10th when it originally came out. And I was going to go to that, but I missed it. I wasn't in New York. Sick to my stomach. So I'm glad I got you guys. I got to see you guys in action at a Rough Trade.
Yeah,
So
that was a light appetizer. The 30th, celebrating the 30th was incredible.
Hmm.
Um, it's like we just came off a tour, like we had 30 day tour overseas, um, like in October, September, October, and we was killing it. You know what I mean? So the whole time we was still finishing up like the last little tidbits of our album, and we was really trying to make that date to give the people something special. We was like, yo, we're gonna 30-year anniversary. We're gonna celebrate the anniversary, and we're gonna give them something new. It was like we was really revved up about that. So to come back home and to perform in our hometown in Brooklyn, and people showed up, you know what I mean? We just killed overseas. We just was like, the shows was dope. We all over the place. But it's nothing like coming to your hometown and letting people know, all right, we still here. We bring in that energy, and we got something new. You know, so I don't want to rub it in that you missed it, but damn, it was
Now
special.
that's crazy because I'm sitting here like, damn, where do I know his face from? And boom, as soon as you said Rough Trade, I'm like, yeah, you was right there in the front.
Yeah, I'm the immaculate one. Rap attack, nigga, rapping over African drums. Hashtag money bags, fat stacks with the rubber band. Snapchat gangsters get smacked with the upper hand. Running through the motherland with the gun in hand. Sharpshooter, harpoon the gun through your heart. Smart through the pop, through the hot, through the in the top. Through an exo to move, but the cavities the last smoother. Direct the metal, well-respected mic prep. The mic is on the same board, chest discussion like Shepard. No, I'm now the bomber in the 40B. 40 doing drifts on the run from the authorities. In Medina, broke Cohibas with the gang leaders. Bang divas, king of king, I'm a raw fiend. Nefertiti, teaching chieftain on exotic beats. Try to keep them Smif-N-Wessun
Is the world. And Rough Trade was just, that wasn't even the tip of the iceberg. That was just brushing the dust off, still leaving, learning the vocals to the new project and just sharpening the tools that's in the shed. So
Yeah.
wait till you get a full-blown experience.
And so you're telling me about how big the 30th was and your fans, like even though I wasn't there at the Rough Trade, there was still people there to come out and support. And so how does this fan base like inspire your career, or how do you interact with them, and how's that changed over the years?
Oh man, it's
Um,
incredible.
the interaction is crazy. Long. You just had someone tell us that at another in-store that we just had, the way he was saying, the paraphrase, yo, your guys, the way y'all interact with the fans and the people, the community is impeccable. Is something to see, and that he really enjoyed it and felt it and appreciated it. So to hear it coming from someone else, where you're not giving yourself praise, it's a great feeling, because it sets the record to let you know that you're doing something correctly. You know what I mean? You're not putting on a mask or a front for anybody, even though, our private life might be separated or different from our rap careers in life, but it's still the same person, it's still the same one life that you live. And to have someone tell you, yo, I think you guys interact with the people that come out and support you. You support those who support you is a blessing in its own. It's a dope way to be thought about and remembered moving forward. So it just gives you more hope and more motivation to keep going and keep making music.
Yeah, that has been the battery for us, I think. And it also becomes our strength. What's good thing for us, we always stayed in our neighborhoods, and we always commune with the people of our neighborhoods. Even when we first got our deal, we went back to the neighborhood and we took T-shirts and stickers and CDs. Right now, you can't do that. Like all that, we didn't know we was taking money from the budget. Like all we was like, we got to share with the people. So being able to come back home 360 degrees and be right there with the people, sometimes it's better than the show. You forget that being in the community, being in the in-stores is what got us those fans in the first place. Our first fans are the ones on our block, the ones that didn't believe that we can make it. And they're going, wait a minute, dude, I saw you on television. Like, you live right next door to me. That's crazy. You still go to the corner store. So it's like being able to relate to reality, what it really is. I get my bread from the corner store. You get your bread from the corner store. The brother said, I want to come here and see what superheroes look like. I'm like, superheroes look just like you. That's our strength. Whereas other artists, they have money, they have the machine, but they can't go back to their neighborhoods, they have these different, they have these big productions, and you don't see anybody that they're connected to. Like our strength comes with being in a group from the time you saw us, we was in that group to up to now. 30 years until you don't see us anymore, then we will just leave you that tidbit of music that we left you. And hopefully that'll inspire you because you inspired us. Like it's a symbiotic relationship. And we tapped into that over the years, obviously. And we still got good friends. We still with our people, Drew High, Boot Camp Click. We still rocking with Beat Miners, cooking up some new stuff, hopefully, in the near future with them.
Hopefully. With your most recent album, like, I really enjoyed it. I felt it was very contemporary, um, but it still stayed true to like what you said, your sound. And I could also see that your recent experiences kind of influenced that as well. And so it was produced by Ninth Wonder. And I saw somewhere he said that he wanted to make sure that it was new, it was contemporary, but still true to that Smif-N-Wessun. And so I think he did a
Yeah,
pretty good job.
yeah, yeah. He definitely said that. And when he said that, I didn't know what he was talking about. Honestly, I was like, yo, like this guy speaks with such like he knows, um he believes in what he's saying, you know. And he it's not like he's forcing the issue. He allows that free space for you to think about it if you want to have faith in the words that he's saying, because he really believes that. Like what he always would say is like, yo, I'm a fan first. I'm a fan first. So like he'll call Mr. Walt, he'll call Evil D and be like, yo, they'll whatever conversations they have, which us as artists, which I'm grateful to say I get to just be an artist. I can just concentrate, me and Tech, and we can formulate how we're gonna do our thing. And these guys, they're exchanging notes on the alchemy of making a perfect track for us. What we need, as opposed to picking beats, because we can rhyme all day. Like what goes with the formula. Ultimately, we left it up to Ninth to go, all right, these are the tracks. Yes, you guys are on the right path. And boom, like Dr. Dre putting together the Chronic, and we was blessed to do that. Know that he was definitely corresponding with the guys to keep that original, that flavor.
Mm.
But salute to the guys. It wasn't just Ninth Wonder. It was Crisis, Soundtracks, The Young Guard, Muaf, who else? Cash.
The whole Soul Council.
The Soul Council, that's the name. Yeah.
Mine is one, but them guys are geniuses over
Knots,
man.
Knots.
We found definitely Knots from VA.
Can't forget Knots.
We all worked hand in hand and brain to brain to find the perfect balance of it. And I think we did a stupendous job.
It's crazy because I think the first time we went down there, Ninth was like, yo, I just got Knots on the team. We was like, what? Like we knew Knots already. Tech got family in VA, so we had work with Knots, but not really to this capacity. So it was fun to get these guys back in the stew and come with this magic. Great.
What song would you guys say kind of like you resonated with the most off the album? Or like when you first heard the beat, you were like, oh yeah, this is the one.
The current album?
Yeah.
I don't think it's really one song like that, because when we first went down to record, it was other songs we recorded that we thought was going to be it, but didn't make the album, didn't make the cut. So it's like sometimes as an artist, when you hear certain joints, it gets stuck in your head. And then when you don't use it, it's hard to kind of shake it loose and move on to the next one. So you can't really get too wrapped up or caught in one specific song, but the whole album in its entirety is a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Once you on that vibe, then you elevate either type of way your soul takes you.
Yeah, it's like we're peeling back the layers, right? Because when you say that, I think of a song, then I think of another song, then I think of another, you know what I mean? And it's like, when we made Infinity, we didn't know we was going to make Elephant in the Room. We didn't know we was going to make Church. You know, we didn't know we was going to make Beautiful Trip. Those things came as whatever we was doing, we was in the spot eating sushi, kicking it with Crisis. We got to the studio and we saw a soundtrack. He was already making beats and we was like, oh, what's that? We was vibing. We ate some mushrooms. And next thing you know, came up with some, so it's like the whole dish, the preparation of the dish, like every item from the salad to the protein to the grains, when you eat it, you're like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Like, that's how for me, it's like, because Infinity says so much.
Yeah.
Original man, the maker, owner, creator, alpha, omega, it's in our nature, we out for the paper. Like that right there says so much. Tech, legacy, life, death, after death. You know what I mean? Just a soliloquy of the trilogy, the trilomy. It's talking about growth, right? And then like saying like how much things that you had to do to get here. And that's where we're starting at. And then you start getting to the tracks like Black Eminence and Have You Heard About Me, where it's like we get to reflect a little bit. And as opposed to being sad and down and these grumpy old rap cats who, angry rappers who never got their way or whoever got
you a message. Right.
you know what I mean? It's like, yo, we all on a similar grind, and that's to make it. So what's the winning structure? What is that diet? And as we look at each other, remember to tap into those little small wins that you had on the way. Because we watch a lot of the elders too, like a lot of the elder states artists, and they look crazy talking about what should be or what shouldn't be. Like we've always went against the grain. It wasn't nobody telling us, yo, young guards, y'all come over here and do this. Yo, we're gonna plug y'all in and patch y'all in to this or that and the third. It's like nobody co-signed for Tech and Steele. We had to grind for it. And I think that alone is the work of the people. It doesn't have to be in the vein of being like a revolutionary, but it's revolutionary to want to get out the situation that you in by being creative, and I think people can identify with that. And when it's music that you can jam to, it just makes it more organic. We've been blessed with that. Yeah.
Hits you right there in the heart. Yeah, it definitely did. There were definitely songs just kept getting stuck in my head. Like definitely you're hearing Medina or like Church, like you said, like in those songs are just so powerful. And like could definitely hear like kind of like you said, the lust for life, like you're enjoying what you're doing, you're looking back on it, and these themes of like self-discovery, self-growth. I thought it was really just powerful.
I enjoyed
spooky. Someone just told us basically those same words, same way they summed the album up pretty much. I could hear you guys enjoyed it. Like y'all didn't lose a love for it, or is it all right if that happens, and how do you find it back? And yeah, I think the whole growth topic it's something I don't even think realistically that we was conscious of or even aiming for. It's just again, it's just the vibe and the way the process was going down to record the album, like being that we even left our comfort zone. We left New York, our homes, to go record. I think it added a whole nother height of vulnerability and creation to it, and it rounded it out.
Absolutely. It definitely tested our faith because we went in blind. We went in not knowing how we was going to do it. And we did know that we didn't want to do a repeat, a rinse and repeat of what was the last thing. It's always a format for artists. You put out your songs, you go on the road, you come back home, you sit down for 2 years, you put out another record. And it's just like this microwave situation. It's like we went in with a blank canvas, and we also was going through changes. like you said, these self-discoveries. Like I was a full-blown alcoholic when I went in there. You know what I mean? I'm celebrating my birthday. And, of course, I'm not going to start recording until I have some Hennessy. It's like by the end of the album was done, I'm not no longer drinking. Like I wasn't a plan, you know? So it's like, what's happening during this recording
Let's
process,
celebrate that. What you got? Like
right?
a year in, right? Year and change.
Yep. Yeah,
Congratulations.
change.
Celebrate
Thank
it.
you.
It's
Yeah.
champion.
So it's these things. It's like, and not to be so morbid, but it's like surviving. You almost drowned or something, you know, and you finally get up out that water and you climb to the sand. The first thing you're gonna do is give thanks for life. So it's kind of like when you listen to this album, that's what you hear. We went there not knowing we loved it. We knew the necessity of this is what we do. And then by the end of the thing, we survive. We look back and we're like, man, we survived all this. And then we get love from people. They receive this. That's beautiful. That's the Most High right there.
Give thanks,
So
and
we give thanks. Yeah. This is the gratitude attitude, you know?
It's important.
Yes.
And definitely, speaking about like the Most High, like stuff like that, I definitely felt with this just the overall the feel of the beats were kind of light and airy, and that background, the piano, a gospel feel about it. And would you call this album abstract hip hop?
call it what you
That's
want to call
interesting.
it. Just call
That's
it Infinity.
interesting.
Smif-N-Wessun
Yeah.
new project. It's a vibe. I
Yeah.
mean, it's to each his own. Whatever it makes you feel, that's what it is to you. It could totally be something totally different to us, and now that gets your mind, your wheels turning, and be like, oh, okay, I see that also. But yeah, it can if it hits that for you, then that's perfect. That's something that's you're experiencing growth now right there. Let alone because 50 years of hip hop, what other thing can you? What other group have? I mean, basically that I've been hearing or being compared to an abstract hip hop is another one of the greats of the icons with the Tribe Called Quest that's in it. So when you in the business, you want to be compared, but not compared to your peers, and you want to live up to those bars that's set and raise your own bars. So the next youth and the next YNs that's coming up, they have something to set their goals to and set their aspirations and be like, nah, that's it.
And so this is just the natural evolution from The Shining. This is where it was
Pretty
gonna.
much when we went in, that's what they was talking about. Yo, we're gonna make a Shining 2. We're like, nah, we ain't doing that. No, not a Shining 2, but a Shining 2 in the way where y'all got y'all sound, as you said in the beginning, but to make it new. And we trusted in the Soul Council and Night Wonder, and Infinity was born, was formulated.
Yeah, we had a template. I mean, everybody tries to hold the artist to what they think works, that's formula. But I think one thing that was good for us is we didn't have, like, Tech and I didn't have no template. We knew that you would want to hear something, us going back and forth. That was about it. We knew we had to do that. That's the thing that we got that other solo rappers can't do that. They can't go back and forth with themselves. They can. Slick Rick is the king of that. But like we have that. That's a strength. So we know we don't want to do some of that. But we also don't want to get misconstrued with all of the style and rappy stuff. You know what I mean? We the elder statesmen. So what have we learned on this journey? So it's like I just this like I would go out sometime. Like they had a lot. They was right next to a train yard, and I would go sometimes I would go over there and sit there and write my bars, like no ceiling, no ceiling. Like, what are you thinking about? What are you feeling? I'm thinking about my mom's right now. That's what you think about? Respecting my mom. She gave me these gifts, right? Oh, snap. I forgot my mom used to write poetry. I totally forgot. You start taking yourself on a journey and you like, okay, is it okay for me to share this with the people? Well, that's what the beat is telling me to do. Yeah, let me just write. Sean Price would just say, just write that. Like Stickman N1 was like, yo, just write and then correct it later, edit it later. So imagine that process. Like all of these different things that these great people said and gave to us, we like want to be able to use that at leisure. And that's the shining. That's what the shining is. Because everybody that raised us before we was able to spit gave us that confidence to come with our own style. We had to develop that. Right? We definitely recorded some joints that was great songs that we thought and, didn't make the cut. The Shining, I don't think we recorded probably one song that we made that didn't make the cut of The Shining. That would probably be
All about
All About the Cash, yeah.
And that's how beautiful the culture is. And that's what it is. When each one teach one, you get a jewel from somebody that you learn from, you pass that jewel down.
Yeah.
And so on and so on. And that's how we standing on 50 solid years right now. And when you look at the youth that's coming up, some of them are making really dope music. Some of them are making really shitty music too. But I think what's out there, hip hop is in great hands for the next 50 years, inshallah, that we striving to go for.
Oh, well.
Are there any specific artists that you're keeping up with right now?
I mean, I keep my ear to the streets. I think my son, he keeps me young and living vicariously through him, through a lot of the YNs that's putting music out. Sometimes, you just can't really say names because it's finicky, it's fickle. Oh, this nigga dig rap.
Yeah, the game is whack. Like
he trying to gain clout. He trying to do this. So you know what I mean. To the young G's, keep winning. Y'all inspire me, man.
Yeah, there you go. All of y'all.
Wow.
I will say this, right? Like just to add on, there are like I literally, I'll look up, I'll Google it, be like, yo, who's popping? You know what I'm saying? Because I heard a conversation where a vlogger said, these underground cats need to be locked up. And I'm like, well, who's the underground cats he's talking about? Like, it's some names that's doing things. And I'm like, oh, snap. There was a time when Smif-N-Wessun, Black Moon, Helter Skelter was considered underground, right? And I wonder, and that's a great question. The backpack rap. So I was like, when you ask that other question, like, would you consider it this? It's like, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, what would be, and that was a great answer, Tech, because it's like, there's no category for people like us. You pop up on Apple Music, we might be in the gospel section. You know what I mean? Our playlist, we ambidextrous with the art, and I like that to a degree. But we also have that core where people like us come from the most craziest places. You know what I mean? It's basic, but it's nuts over there. Like I mean, if you put us in a box, then of course we would go to jail. We would have the jail story. But what if we have a story where we didn't go to jail? And we have a story where we fought just as hard to stay out of prison. And we have those type of raps where we like Gangsta's Prayer and Hustler's Prayer. Like they're not saying Jesus this or Allah this, or somebody you might hear some of these connotations. But at the same time, it's not pulling you into the occultism, only the enjoyment of music, the basic variation. But that's what we go through in life. But it takes confidence, like you said, Tech said, the vulnerability is like, damn, once you're there and you tapped into that, like, you just let it go,
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, just, whoo.
Well put. Well,
art is good, though, man.
That's all I have for you guys. I appreciate the time.
Oh, man, great bill, brother. Word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bucktown, home of the original one.